Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome back to Living with Philosophy. I've got Barry and Opie with me here. I'm Jesh. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about logical fallacies because Debate Hub is kind of kicking off with having proper debates, and I've already noticed the comment section being like, "That's a fallacy, and that's a fallacy, and that's a fallacy." And sometimes you guys are right, and sometimes you're not. And so we're going to talk about those a little bit because not all fallacies are always fallacious. I think we don't think. Hi guys.
And sometimes you don't need to point them out either. Like it just doesn't do anything.
Sometimes pointing out a fallacy is meaningless because it's not applicable to the discussion.
No.
I guess sometimes people point out fallacies in a discussion as if it is a formal debate.
Yeah, or like racking up points. Like it's like golf. Oh, now you're -1 or -2 now or something like that. It's like, oh, okay.
I do want to point out special happy birthday to Athens. Happy birthday, Athens.
Happy birthday.
Barry, how you doing, man?
You said fellas.
I did.
Cool, yeah. Happy birthday, Athens, also. Feliz cumpleaños. I'm looking forward to talking about these fallacies because I find them all annoying to the point. They're so annoying to me to the point that I never use them anymore. I used to think I was great saying, if I identify them, and I'd say, oh, look, you're doing this and you're doing that, and you're not really doing it properly. But now I just don't bother doing it anymore. Instead, I just describe them using words. So if somebody says, let's say, not to jump ahead, but one of the more popular ones would be ad hominem. Instead of saying ad hominem, I was saying, well, look, what you're doing there is you're not addressing the argument.
Yeah, no, it's way better.
More helpful.
Way more helpful. I guess the other
begging
thing
the question, fuck off, Tom Riddle. Fuck you with your begging the question. No. All these annoy me. They all annoy me.
I think that there's like an additional thing you can go with as well. Sorry, I'm just trying to fix my lighting a little bit because it's really bright.
I feel like
here.
if you're thinking about just pointing out or making like a statement about fallacies while you're in a discussion, you're not really engaging with the discussion anymore. You're just trying to play like trumps or one up.
Absolutely. And at that point, you're not. Why bother? Just jump out. Say, yeah, fine, we're done. There's no communication happening here. This is just childish high school.
You're having two conversations now. So
I think that there's a point where it can be, but I do think people jump the gun on it, where it's like that's just more what they're looking for as opposed to the actual discussion itself.
Well, that's a straw man, Jesh, so.
Oh. There's I'm reading people's minds. There's I think there's a time where it's valid and a time where it isn't, right? And I think what we're talking about more is like when is it not? And again, it's usually that we're having a discussion here. We're not having a formal debate. I've not written a formal debate. Now, we have had formal debates where I still see these fallacies get tossed around by the peanut gallery, right? People watching the debates and saying, well, that person's doing this fallacy. And it's not always actually true.
It's up to the moderator to maybe jump in,
if it's necessary, because sometimes it's just part of. So for example, recently Dapper and FTFE had a debate here on Debate Hub, and you should definitely go watch it. And it was about whether or not teaching children that the earth is flat, whether or not it constitutes child abuse. And FTFE was on the side that it does, and Dapper was on the side that it doesn't quite reach that level. And one of the things that Dapper started talking about a little bit was that when you're talking about child abuse, you're getting to the point where you're taking kids away from parents. And teaching that doing this is not at that level. Plus, like, the foster care system is terrible, and is it really worth the consequences? And people were calling that an argument from emotion to say that, well, you're saying, like, these things are going to happen, therefore you're pulling on people's heartstrings to say that, well, the foster system is so bad, therefore children shouldn't be taken away. Well, that's an argument to improve the foster care system, not an argument to say whether or not a child should be taken away due to abusive behaviors of being taught that the earth is flat. And so I'm like, I don't think that quite reaches fallacy level.
No, I think it was a pretty decent argument to lay forth, so.
Also, you'd have to. The thing about a lot of these fallacies are only fallacies if you do it wrong. Like some of these fallacies are fine if you use them Like, so an argument from emotion is perfectly fine if you're dealing with people's feelings.
Right.
And if in this situation you would be dealing with people's
Child
feelings,
abuse is child abuse is a feeling.
So,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I don't like it is a perfectly acceptable argument against not doing something you don't want to do, even though there's no logic to it. Like,
Well,
I don't
there's
want to
also
eat peanuts, you know, but they're delicious. I don't want to eat them.
Actions also have consequences. So if you're making a decision about whether or not something constitutes this, if it does, therefore this then happens, and we have to talk about what the result of that thing would be if we want to classify this thing over here, right?
So
Yeah, okay.
I know like our whole show is about living with philosophy, but like if we back it up, like philosophy is like about the study of argument, and fallacies are basically whenever there is a fault in your line of reasoning, basically, like a true fault, and that's all it is, basically. So, like,
Yeah, if I've pulled up the Wikipedia list of fallacies, and I'll give you guys a link to it if you want. But there are definitely better sources than this. I'm just using this as a rough and tumble, ready to go list.
That's great. That's not a bad source.
Thank you.
Wikipedia's
This titles a fallacy as a fallacy is the use of invalid or otherwise faulty reasoning in the construction of an argument.
ho ho.
Well, that's a very
good,
narrow
right?
definition, but we can work
Yeah.
with that.
It then goes on and says all forms of human communication can contain fallacies. So it's not
And probably
limited
will.
to argumentation, but that's tends to be where.
Oh my
Humans
God!
are
How long is
fallible
this game? We're never going to make it through all this. Sweet Jesus!
Yeah, we don't have to cover
This
every
is-
single one of them. Don't panic.
No,
Why? Look at this. What?
let's pick the favorite ones.
We're just gonna do
Oh
a
my
few,
God.
and then like in a couple of months we'll do another few, and then like in a couple of months we'll do another few. And I'm
I'm
gonna make you
still
sit
scrolling.
here for the next 12 hours, and we're gonna analyze
still
every single one.
Scrolling.
Guys, I scared Barry.
This isn't a true list
Okay.
of fallacies.
No, it's not.
There's more.
We can invent more as we go.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Well, we'll just we should pick the ones that we come across the most, I guess, first, and then deal with the little ones.
Yeah. So we should also talk about that there's differences between formal fallacies and informal fallacies, right? So formal fallacies being like an error in the argument's formality, like how the
Yeah, but
argument is
that's
put
not
together.
really something. That's not an everyday philosophy thing, because people in everyday philosophy aren't really mounting logical arguments using formal logic, if then else, you know. So we
Right.
can just forget about all that and go straight to the informal ones.
I mean, people do bring up the non sequitur a lot, and that one's a formal.
Yeah, but that's also an informal one.
That's true. It doesn't. Yeah, they're not like.
It's like similar to a
consequence I
red
do
herring.
see,
Yeah.
but that's like propositional.
Yeah. What fallacy do you think, named fallacy do you think is the most common that you've heard? Have you heard? I'd be like ad hominem or straw man, or what one is the most?
Like, you mean the
you've
one
heard
that
most?
I've heard that is called out correct, like the one that I see used, or the one that I see?
No, just the
people
phrase that you hear the most.
saying? Oh, the one I hear the most.
Not necessarily deployed correctly, just the one you hear the most.
Recently, I've been hearing the Nirvana fallacy a lot.
Nirvana
Really?
fallacy.
What is that one?
The
Yeah.
nothing is worth doing if it's not perfect.
What's that got to do with Nirvana?
So Nirvana is perfection, right? So
Oh, okay.
if whatever you're proposing doesn't work perfectly right away, it's not valid. Which is not.
Oh, no,
Kurt-
we already
Kurt Cobain
we talked
killed
about
himself.
this in
It would not
January.
be
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
We talked
one.
about this in well,
it comes-
not this, but like. Oh, sorry for interrupting. But you mentioned the best way to get into a routine is to half-ass it. So
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Oh. Yeah.
But I see it a lot because it comes up a lot in politics, where a political opponent that doesn't like your proposal will argue that the proposal isn't going to be perfect, or it could be taken advantage of this way or that way, therefore it should
People
never
don't
be
use the
done.
phrase Nirvana fallacy, do they?
No, it comes up in my side chat. My side chat's like,
Oh,
nah. My side chat uses
You're that
it.
guy. You're that guy. She's got a side chat.
I do.
It's not all about the main chat. There's a side chat. I don't know how you feel about that.
I've just seen
Right.
that one coming up a lot, but I think the reason I've seen that one come up a lot recently is because I've been covering politics. So that's very much like a bias what
Yeah.
I'm running into. Opie, what do
I'm
you run
still
into?
aghast that you read out the whole document over a series of videos. Fucking brilliant. I sat down
I
for
don't.
actually one whole thing of those because it was so funny.
When I talk to people about like philosophy on Twitter, still, I don't really run into fallacies. I run more that we're just talking past each other, and it's just a matter of like some Wittgensteinian language game that we're playing, and that's about it.
Yeah,
So
yes, correct.
I'm gonna have to design
There's
a
a guy
peanut.
said talking about blocking people, oh, I'd feel bad blocking this person because fucking man, block whoever you want. Who gives a shit?
It is very silly. Yeah, don't let perfect be an enemy of good. Yeah, that's definitely on.
Like I half-ass everything I do, and it's fine. I'm fine. I'm still here.
Yeah, the world's not gonna end if you don't get it perfect the first time.
nothing's perfect.
And it's like we
Oh
were
no,
talking about justice last time.
yeah.
All right,
No,
I'm gonna have to
continue.
make you fuckers watch Arcane, and we're gonna talk about the philosophy of the characters of Arcane.
I
We were talking about
I love
justice
Arcane.
the last time.
I didn't finish the second season of it, but the first
You're
season was
missing out.
great. I am. Okay. I don't have Netflix right now.
Let me make my argument about how Victor is correct and everyone else is wrong.
Nice.
Fight me IRL. Okay. So let's look at a couple of the. Wait, Barry, you didn't say which one you see the most.
It would be ad hominem or strawman.
Do you see them like called out correctly or incorrectly more often than not?
Do you insult people while you argue? Is that why?
I do.
I'll say you're wrong about this, and also you're horrible. No, I don't. I used to do it. It's what I see. It's what I see. I see you're a fuckwit, and also you're wrong because X, Y, Z. That's not ad hominem at all. That's just me being a dick. Right. So it's what I see being discussed, and other people using, and sometimes they use it correctly, and sometimes even when they use it correctly, they shouldn't, even though they're using it correctly.
Yeah, you're talking about whether or not your argumentation is effective or your level of communication is effective in your argument or your discussion or whatever's going on. And sometimes, so this is something that's interesting. I've had Chris Shelton on a couple of times, and I had Chris and FDFE debating about whether or not Flat Earth is a cult. And they've talked about a few times thought-stopping cliches, where you are no longer engaging in what's going on because you are hitting a cliche or you're hitting a point in your script that you just repeat that stops you from continuing.
Block.
Fallacies, when people are calling out fallacies, are doing that to their own discussions.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a debater or if you're somebody who enjoys the debates, if you catch yourself going, well, that's a fallacy, and then dismissing everything they said because you think that they did a fallacy, you're stopping yourself from engaging. Which might be a good thing, it might be a bad thing, but just that is what's happening.
What I've discovered from reading more stuff about philosophy is that the only reason to read up on fallacies like this is to ensure that your own discourse does not contain them, not to point out other people's. And I don't think Matt Dillahunty is quite there yet. I don't think he's gone over the top of that yet. I think he's still down the pointing out others. But the trick is to spot your own.
I've noticed this when it comes to flat earthers do this, young earth creationers do this, and I've seen a lot of atheists do this as well, particularly like online debatey atheists, where they don't bring their own argument. They don't bring their own argument to the table. They just want to point out holes in the other person's argument.
Yeah, well, that could be valid too, but not if you're being a dick. And a lot of them are just being dicks.
And not if that's all you're doing.
Yeah, not if that's all you're doing. Yeah, you're just being a dick.
Whenever Matt Dillahunty talks about the definition of atheism, that's exactly what he does.
I had somebody in my comment section. Manya did a review of a philosophy paper, which you two should check out if you have time. I condensed it into some videos.
Oh, I saw it. Stephen. What's the name of the guy who wrote the paper?
McRae. It was Steve.
Stephen McRae. Yeah, she that's the guy. I saw that. She goes through it line by fucking line.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She did an academic review. Yeah. She shredded it.
Using normal kind of language that I can understand.
Yes, that was the
goal. Started off funny, and then she did something I thought was impossible. She made me feel sorry for him. Like I felt bad for that poor guy. He's basically had his ass ripped up with a chainsaw, and repeatedly that chainsaw was going up his ass over and over, tearing his guts up all over the place. It's horrible. It's horrible.
So you would recommend
I watched it over and over again. But,
See, that's the better way to go about it.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't go out of her way to make fun of him.
As well.
Yeah.
She wasn't making fun of him at all. She never once made fun of him.
Nope.
Not in the video I saw. She didn't make fun of him once. She never said anything unpleasant about him, anything unkind. She
Yep.
said, okay, this is ridiculous, meaning the sentence, but she didn't say anything about him. She
Right.
said, this is terrible, blah, 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 blah. And then she gives this reason that's 100% solid. I was thinking, Jesus Christ, this lady's done her homework. Like, what the fuck was she? Was she
Do
doing this for
not
weeks? Was she looking up stuff for weeks just to tear this thing apart?
do not make Manya petty. If you piss her off, she will
Yeah.
ruin your whole day. So what I did was I took it from her because she did it live, and then I just took it and I
Yeah.
slammed it up and cut it together and made it a little
bits.
bit prettier.
Okay.
But what was
It's
I
wonderful
saying?
to see that kind of that level of criticism,
Almost.
though, to see that kind of thing done properly, you know?
Yeah, like
Like,
academically
if you don't give a
approached.
shit about any of these people, or Manya, or Stephen McRae, or any of these people, if you don't give a shit about philosophy or anything, it's still nice to see that happen. This is what it looks like when you're actually addressing the problems in a paper.
Right. And you can
How the hell did that
and
get published?
well, it opens up a space for dialogue where anybody, whether it's Steve or somebody else, that like the author of the paper,
Yeah.
can say something or respond or correct their paper or make changes because that's all in
Some
there.
Stephen McRae, you know, isn't
Oh,
it?
this is
Yeah, it
completely
is.
following.
It is.
It is.
This is completely
Yeah.
following care.
It's
you know?
that guy.
What was he thinking? He knows nothing about philosophy. What was he thinking? How did he get it
People on
published? Who
Barry's mind.
published that?
He self-published it. It's not published any like he got it
Oh.
peer-reviewed, but it's not like
Oh,
properly
no, I get that.
published.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got it published it himself. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really good video, or it's a really good series of videos. I'm gonna have to put it in its own playlist once it's done going out. There's still two parts left, and then it's done.
Yeah, if you haven't seen
Um,
Manya taking apart this philosophy Christ paper, then you should definitely do it. It's very interesting. And just watch the first 10 minutes, right? Just
Yeah.
watch the first 10 minutes of it, and you'll see
This
it's
is-
like,
Um, Is this the one where it's like the hexagonal line of reasoning for his argument? Is that
yeah, he
one?
tries to use the square. Yeah,
Oh,
and
it's
then
the
he-
square one, not that.
the
Okay, fair enough.
yeah, I think it's the square one. The definitely check it out. Monty did a very good job, and it's easy to follow. And she did that thing where we try to get rid of a lot of the jargon and actually just talk about what we're
Yeah.
trying to say and what we're talking about, as opposed to like. And I think that fallacies
Yeah.
can kind of start falling into that jargon territory because if you're talking to somebody who doesn't know the fallacies, listing them off means nothing.
correct.
It's just you're just dick waving at that point. But
You
Tom
should
in
never
the
use any of
chat.
these phrases. Never use these phrases.
Can what circumstances is what aboutism valid? And it's
There's a
basically
real problem there. There's a real problem. And the problem
Yeah.
is when you're in discussion, the human brain naturally compares things to other things. And when you're in a discussion and you want to
Mm-hmm.
deal with something, your natural tendency will be to compare it to another thing. And you are comparing one element of that thing to the same element in another thing. And people will
Yeah.
accuse you of comparing everything in that thing to everything in the other thing. And they'll say, oh, that's not like that at all. I said, yeah, I know. That's why it's a comparison and not a fucking description, you plank. Otherwise, I'd just be describing it. It's a comparison for the purposes of illumination. I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm trying to tell you something here. Whataboutism,
map.
sometimes whataboutism is, yes, and it's a map. And sometimes whataboutism is very valid. Like you could say something like, well, Israel is engaged in war crimes, and Zionists will come back at you and they'll say, well, how come you're not talking about the war crimes in Sudan?
right.
And like, I mean, I could do, will that make you feel better about murdering Palestinians? Why would it? I don't understand.
Right,
That's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
Sometimes it would be relevant, you know?
It's also whataboutism is part of propaganda. Like you just
Yeah.
it's exactly the example of Israel, right?
But all
So-
of the fallacies could be about propaganda.
Oh yeah, because it's all rhetorical. Rhetorical devices are utilized in
Yeah.
propaganda all the time. That's one of the reasons why it's good
Yeah.
to know them. Like this is useful information, but it needs to be applied properly. And if you're just using it to try to berate somebody over the internet with a bat, you're not really using it correctly or effectively necessarily.
But there's times when whataboutism is perfectly reasonable. Like if somebody
Yeah.
started listing out a history of Hitler's activities, and they only told you about the good things, like he had this
Right.
Winter Hilfswerk thing, the social programs. He built up Germany's army back to where it was. He made it one of the most powerful countries on the planet. You know, and you're legitimately allowed at that point to say, well, what about?
Right.
That's not what it is. What about it? That's fine.
when there is a reasonable through line that is related, it's no longer really whataboutism anymore. It's a reasonable
No,
through
no.
line.
In that case I gave you, there's no through line and it's not related because they're all talking about is the good things Hitler did. So it's not
Right,
related.
right,
If I
right.
say
But
the
it's
bad
Hitler, and you're still talking about Hitler's activities, right? So
sure,
it's
yeah. I'm
Hitler
saying,
and
well,
still
what
Hitler.
about
Yeah.
what about the bad things he did?
Yeah. You can
He should
have
never have started that
legitimate.
war in Russia.
I mean, do you see appeal to authority being weaponized? I see that one a lot, where somebody does like an appropriate appeal to say like, well, the professionals in this field say this, this, and this,
Yeah.
and somebody goes, that's an appeal to authority. It's like, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that there's
No,
the difference
yeah,
between
exactly.
the difference
Or
between this guy said this, therefore it's true, versus this person
Yeah.
is a professional in the field and has published it. Here's their paper.
or
Well,
here's
there's
another
an
thing,
easy
like,
counter to that.
Mm.
The easy counter argument to that is where are you getting your information? And I found that stops all that dead bang. Because when I was talking about this genocide in Gaza, I said, look, here's this expert in genocide. He said it's a genocide. Here's this expert in genocide. He said it's a genocide. These are all Jewish, by the way. This Jewish
Yeah.
expert in genocide said it's a genocide. These 3 human rights groups said it's a genocide international. These 2 Israeli human rights groups said it's a genocide. And they say, well, that's just an appeal to authority. Okay, what's your source of information? It's some guy on YouTube, or the IDF. Like, I mean, I don't need to hear anything from the IDF, thank you. Or some
Right.
fucking Zionist that's Smotrich, What? It's gone
My-
green. It's gone green.
Yeah, My Unfinished Journey for 5 said, Hail Debate Hub and Philosophy, hounds of, and hail recognizing and forestalling your own logical fallacies.
A little fist there like that. That is true, yeah. We gotta stop our own more than worrying about other people's. But also, we can talk about that now.
Yeah,
So
okay,
yeah,
what were you
appeal to
thinking?
authorities are fine. I appeal to authorities all the time because I do not have the time to be an expert in everything I talk about,
Right.
and that's okay.
I don't like the idea of experts too much, but like there's also like when people like you would talk about a consensus, like that's still a valid thing to like discuss. Like, hey, here's like everybody in the damn field is saying this, like,
Yeah.
or you're gonna go for the one upstart maverick guy. I don't know, like.
But there's also like this idea that, oh, well, all of NASA is wrong. And it's just like, that's a straw man of the fallacy you're saying I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because
You
you're
mean
not
the
just citing
one-
NASA, quote unquote.
No, but then like there's plenty of workers in there that are just calculating like how much food is needed for them to get from point A to point B. And it's like they're wrong too. Like
Right.
Okay, an intrigued feline here says, related to this is the genetic fallacy, like discrediting a Zionist when it comes to the Israeli genocide. Yes, you should never discredit a Zionist because they are Zionists. You should discredit Zionists because they just happen to be wrong about everything.
Right. Same with flat earthers. Same with the young earth creationists. They're just wrong about everything.
Yeah.
And you don't need to
Yeah.
brush them off because when you can just prove that they're wrong all the time.
It's not because they're like flat earthers, like because they identify as flat earthers. That's not the problem. The problem is
Right.
that they're wrong about the earth.
Right.
And it's the same with Zionists. The problem isn't that they're like Zionists, so like how they identify. The problem is that their imperial colonialist adventures in Israel are killing Palestinians.
You are doing yourself a disservice if you discredit someone based on how they self-identify.
It's not going to help you.
Correct.
Yeah, it's not going to help you.
No, you're just shutting down conversation. Which, I mean, if you want to shut down conversation, fine, but then why are you here? You know, like, why are you engaging in a conversation when all you want to do is shut it down? Then just leave.
Well, I have heard Zionists say things that were correct occasionally. So, like a Zionist said to me once, he said, Jews deserve a safe place to live. And yeah, definitely, 100%, yes, they do. So fair enough.
Right.
Point made. Correct. Well done, Zionist. But like, there's other things they say that are less correct.
People are multifaceted. And so
Yes.
just because somebody is incredibly wrong about this thing over here does not mean they don't necessarily know anything about this thing over here.
Yeah.
Temper your
Well, you get that in
expectations.
far right people as well. Whatever country you're in, you get that in far right people. Far right people can sometimes say things that make a lot of sense. They'll say the health service is strained to capacity. Say there's not enough housing for like local people, and now all these foreigners are coming in and they need somewhere to live, and blah 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 blah. Right? And you could say, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I get that. But the problem isn't like the foreigners. The problem is something else. You know? You
Yeah,
can't
it's
sort of
like
go
it's
around
not
hassling
your
foreigners.
it's not your you've identified the problem correctly, but your solutions to the problem and your application of that information is just
Yeah,
way
or the
out
cause
of
of it.
right. The cause of the
Yeah.
problem is just way out of spec. And you don't necessarily, and it's about the cost of somebody else. Like, what do you do, right? The results. And is that practical? I like to, it's just, my general line of thought is always like, tends to be in the pragmatic line of like, okay, so what do we do about this? Because like, usually when I'm discussing with people or I'm having a debate of my own, I usually just follow wherever they're going. And I'm like, okay, where are we going? So I did this so much that I accidentally started a new show.
Called Where Are We Going?
It's called Circle Jerk.
It's gonna be hard to sell to the advertisers, but okay.
Yeah, well, fuck the advertisers. Listen, we're monetized.
Circle Jerk is brought to you by.
Yeah. This show here is only monetized via. There's no ads on this show right now. It's all just monetized through people super chatting or becoming members. Okay. So my unfinished sock for 5 says, "Don't feel sorry for Steve McWhat's-his-face. Like and share the stream instead."
Yeah, but have you seen the show? Like, who said that? Who said that thing about the green one?
My unfinished sock.
Who said the green text? Oh, my own. Have you seen that show that we're talking about, Manya's show? Because my God, you say don't feel sorry for him, but it is brutal.
It's brutal.
Like I witnessed a murder. It's brutal, and the way she's so calm about it, like she doesn't even have any, like she's not bitter about it. She's just like, well, this is wrong for the following 12 million reasons. Reason number 1, reason number 2. And look at this diagram I did of how wrong it is and why.
It's so funny.
It's so bad. I do
good.
Feel sorry for him. Yeah. Steven. I didn't realize it was the same guy. I just thought it was a different guy by the same name because he's not going to be.
Well, she never brought it up, right? She didn't even bring up any of the like other shit. It's not. It's just a paper is or is not.
Show, yeah.
Right.
That
so you don't
be,
have to.
What would that be? That would be what do you call it? We just said it.
Whataboutism?
No, ad hominem.
Ad homs? Yeah, she didn't attack him personally
Steve McCrae,
at all.
this is wrong because Steve McCrae's a dick or whatever. You don't like him. That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
To this particular show.
She didn't bring it up so much that you didn't even realize it was the same guy.
I thought it was weird that it was the same name as the guy that you know. I was thinking that's weird that it's the same guy.
What's a coincidence?
Weird.
Yeah.
Funny thing that.
I couldn't believe I've seen that guy in chats. No way he sat still enough at a computer to type those words,
Is there a time? Is there a time where a straw man fallacy is valid?
No.
No.
Only in the sense that a straw man, every attempt to educate somebody in a model is about constructing models that are not 100% accurate. Remember I sent that paper to you in the chat?
Yeah.
Apart from that, no, because a straw man implies that you're intending to mislead. And if you're intending to mislead, it can never be a good use of your time. But if you're not intending to mislead...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And people who do straw men would have to be aware of it. Sometimes they're not. And if they're not, then they're just idiots.
I have definitely maliciously steel-manned people before.
Yeah. No, but
there's
I guess like we can go back to this. Like I know we've always been talking about pointing out the other person's fallacies, but like if you're like trying your damnedest to not be fallacious yourself, you still end up being like I don't know, like as long as you're able to be accountable and then change your argument after that fact, then you're pretty much fine too. So it's
I've strawmanned people before. Most recently, I strawmanned. Do you know Michael Nugent?
Yeah.
I was talking to him on Twitter once. I strawmanned him accidentally. I strawmanned him, and he said, "Well, that's not what we're talking about. You've moved around there." And I was like, "Yes, I have. You are correct. Sorry, Michael."
Yeah, I mean, things can happen accidentally, right? Not every fallacy is done maliciously. Sometimes fallacies are done by accident.
Yeah. And he didn't mention the phrase straw man either. He just told me, you've constructed a different argument there. Other than the one
I think that Feline is saying could be accurate. Would simplifying a point be considered a straw man if you get it wrong?
If you intentionally get it wrong.
Yeah.
And people do all the time. Like I wasn't being intentional.
If you're doing rhetorical backflips, yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
doing it.
But
You can do
sometimes,
something like that to somebody on purpose with the intention of pointing out that they don't even know what their own point is.
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
what if
not
you know their
point
point
about it.
better? Like,
Exactly. If you know what they're trying to
Yeah,
say better than they know what they're trying to say, you know how to communicate it better, you can straw man them into a and pigeonhole them into a position they never actually intended to take, but they did because they
yeah.
said it wrong.
That's very easy to do with religious people because religious people have to stick to the line, and you know what the line is. You might people who've studied
Hmm.
religion will know what the line is more than people who believe in that religion.
Anybody who runs a script. So like Kent Hovind is a good example of this. If somebody
Script.
like Kent Hovind is running a script on you and you know his script,
Yeah,
you can use his script against him and pivot him
Lane
into a
Craig.
position that he doesn't. Craig, yeah,
William
William
Lane
Lane Craig's a
Craig.
good example. Yep. Yep,
You
yep,
can
yep.
actually
Anybody who
hear
runs a
them
script like
click
that.
into script, right?
Yep.
You can hear them click into the script mode, and they have a group of words that they say that they've said. Almost say it as one word. There was a
Yep.
guy who had. Do you remember the banana guy?
Yeah, Richard Carrier.
Can
No,
no,
no, no.
No,
um,
Carrier's all right.
yeah,
Eric
no, sorry, I
Hovind.
got that.
No,
No,
sorry.
he's
No, I
Australian.
know who you're talking about.
Ray
Yes.
somebody.
Oh, Ray Comfort.
Yes,
Comfort.
I got
Ray
it. I
Comfort.
got there.
And whenever he spoke to anybody,
Richard Carrier, Ray Comfort. Fuck me, dude.
Carrier doesn't
Sorry,
say
go
that.
ahead.
Whenever he was talking about things in debates or what, not even debates, just discussions afterwards, you can see him click into several sentences that he basically memorized as if they were one
Yeah.
word, and it's very disturbing. Thanks, Pagat, Jesse. It's very difficult to try and communicate with people like that. Like I've had to say, look, I need
Yeah.
you to stop doing that because I can't communicate with a wall of text, and I understand the temptation to kind of presuppositionalists do it like as
Yes.
their bread and butter. There was a guy called Saitan Bruggencate, and he only communicated through these sentences he'd memorized. It was impossible for him to deviate from his own script. And if you tried to get him to do that, he would just slot the nearest sentence he could find. He would
Yeah.
never say something like, "Oh
He
well,
was
you have an
he was
interesting
stuck in a
thought
flow
there."
chart.
Yeah.
He was stuck in his own flowchart. Exactly. That's exactly it. And it was
Straw
impossible to discuss
manning.
anything genuinely with him.
Straw manning somebody that is in a script is one of the best ways to get them out of the script.
Well, I would just stop and say something completely different, like say, "What's your favorite movie?" or "What did you do today that you're proud of?" or
Flipping the
anything at all.
table is the other way. Yeah. I
Do you
like
have
to
any
use a
cats and dogs?
combination.
What's your cat's name? Why did you call your cat that name? Now, can we talk about this, please? Because I
Yeah.
don't want to talk a script.
If I hear a script, I get like the hairs standing on the back of my head. It's almost like they're in a sales pitch, and it's just
It's
Yes.
how I feel
No,
about
it's not
Jordan
almost like
Peterson
they're in a sales
before he
pitch.
went in his coma.
They are in a sales pitch.
Yes.
And it
Yeah.
demeans me. It demeans me as a person to engage with that. And I don't like being demeaned.
Mhm.
And I want to talk to these people about their ideas. I want to talk to. You don't really get that. I mean, you get it with Christian guys sometimes. You don't get it as much with. If you talk to Islamic people, they're not really like that. They just have. They have a script, but they don't have like the fixed sentences in their heads. They just have this burning truth that they know, and then they speak it out. But they don't really
Right.
have the fixed sentences that the Christian apologetics have. So talking to Islamics is a little bit easier. But even then, like you have to say, well, what do you have a cat? What's your cat's name?
Utilizing fallacies can be a really they exist for a reason. They're useful tools. It's just a matter of whether or not you're using it correctly from a rhetorical standpoint.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure the first time they were cooked up, they were very useful and interesting. Like all
Yeah,
cliches. The first time, any cliche the first time it was used, it was useful to illuminate something.
too long didn't read for today's stream. We're talking about when fallacies are applicable and when they're not applicable, and whether or not they can be useful, and like so whether or not they're formal or informal, and how they can work in your favor. Because sometimes half of debating is just being persuasive. And at the end of the day, a fallacy can be persuasive, or a fallacy might trip up your opponent, which makes it an incredibly valid thing to have used in that context. Now, does it mean that your logic or your argument stands well enough? It depends on your opponent if you're doing a one-to-one formal debate.
Yeah, but like I don't like that.
Okay.
For the same reason, Socrates said he didn't like it either. Socrates had nothing but revulsion for that. He was absolutely repulsed by it. He called them
Valid.
sophists. He called them sophists You see, he thought they were scum because they were really good at winning arguments, but not much good at having good arguments. And you'll see that a lot on Twitter. On Twitter, people they're well trained in how to defend an argument, very well versed and very fluent in how to defend an argument, but some of them have no idea at all how to put together a good argument. They just know how to defend it. And it's incredibly difficult to talk to these people because they have a fucking smart ass answer for everything you say. And then you have to say, look, I understand the temptation to flowchart, as Paleophilus just said, to flowchart it, but I want to discuss with you your ideas, and I want you to be authentic with me because I'm interested in what you have to say. That's my crime here. My crime here that you're punishing me for is that I'm interested in what you have to say. So can you please just talk to me? And if
I'm trying to talk to you. I'm not trying to talk to your argument or your. I'm not trying to attack your position. I want to understand why you think what you think.
Yeah. Like, I'm over it now. I'm over talking people out of being Christians or talking people out of being Muslims or whatever. I don't care anymore. I just want to know why you think the things you do. And I find it incredibly interesting that you believe these things, that you believe Allah is in heaven looking at you. That's interesting to me. You think Muhammad is the last prophet and everything he said was gold. That's interesting to me, and I want to know why. You think Jesus is going to save us all. Great, let's talk about it. I'm not going to say you're a fucking idiot. You know, I don't think you're an idiot. I just think the thing you believe is wrong. That's all. You know?
We are talking about tactics and debating because we're trying to put something applicable to these fallacies specifically. That's like the whole point of the show, is to make it practical and useful for you to talk
but
about.
No one's going to be in debates. Like, they'll just be in regular discussions.
Well, people utilize these fallacies inappropriately in what should be a discussion and treat every discussion like a debate. Or you have people who treat everybody, they get so used to talking to a certain type of person that they forget how to talk to anybody else. So, like, it's people who talk about flat earth all the time, or people who talk about young earth creationists all the time, or people who da-da-da-da-da-da. So, like, if you're stuck in that bubble where that's what you're used to dealing with, and you start projecting that, you start anticipating that with every other person you talk to, you're setting yourself up to look like either an asshole or you're setting yourself up to fail, because the expectation you're setting forward for the person you're talking to is just not where that person is at.
Rosina there says, can't you be both? ¿Por qué no las dos? But what do you mean, both what? Explain what you mean, Rosina, and then I'll have a look at you. Sorry, I'm watching the chat as well. Some interesting stuff coming out of the chat.
Yeah.
Can axioms be fallacious?
So, like, I mean, I assume so. It's like if you're starting.
Depends. It depends on if they're truth apt.
Yeah, they could be like incorrect. You cannot accept the premises. So if your axiom is a false premise, can you not?
No. The whole point of an axiom is it's not questioned. If an axiom is wrong, that's fine. Then everything that comes after that will also be wrong. But your axiom is incorrect. That's fine. So it can't be fallacious. It's just
either correct or incorrect, or accepted or not accepted.
Yeah, it's either accepted or not accepted. Like, there's systems of belief and thought that have axioms that are definitely incorrect, but it's not fallacious.
I think they could be dishonest, but not fallacious. You could dishonestly.
Dishonest implies that they're intentionally lying.
Yeah, or they're saying something that they know intentionally wrong to lead you to a conclusion that they're leading you by the nose to somewhere else.
Like, if you're studying theology, an axiom of that will be that there is a God.
Yes. Yeah.
That's not lying. That's just not right. That's just not true. But it's not fallacious either.
But what I'm getting at is people will use an axiom to mislead people. So they'll use this axiom to make an argument that is not necessarily a good or a logical argument, and then use that to try to convince somebody that something is true, whether they believe it or not.
It's just it's just an argument that they want you to accept.
Right, but they're utilizing an axiom.
What you said,
it's the discussion that comes afterward, right? Not the axiom itself.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, like, the axiom can be used as a
tool.
Asking
about axioms. The intrigued feline asked about axioms, and I thought it was an interesting question. Yeah,
that's a good question. What's the difference between an axiom and a premise?
An axiom is a line in the argument. A premise is the ones that lead to a conclusion. Is also an axiom.
Yeah.
It's just that it's not.
I would say an axiom is. I would have a more informal understanding of axiom. An axiom would be a precondition for anything you lay down as an argument.
Which you could run into presuppositionalism in that case.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Presuppositionalism is all axioms. But it still doesn't mean, like, yeah, but like a premise then is just something you decide is the start of an argument. But before you ever do any of those things, you have axioms
Yeah.
that you have to accept before you lay any premises down. Now, this is necessary to make any premises because the merest axiom would be something like we both understand language, something you don't have to say. It doesn't have to be said.
Right.
We're both speaking English. That would be an axiom. We both have to accept that language is an acceptable way to make our arguments. Like that would be an axiom, but no one ever says this because it's so fucking obvious. All the fucking obvious stuff would be axioms. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's valid.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that's
Okay,
valid.
that's axiom. But premises are not like that.
And we can presuppose a lot of those the obvious axioms.
Yeah,
So
they'd be all
you're-
every axiom in my view would be presuppositional.
Yeah, we're both
But
people.
the
We're both
question
having
is-
a conversation. The internet
Correct.
exists. Da, 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 da,
Correct.
da.
You hear words.
The question then is whether
Yeah.
we hear words. But the question is whether or not you're justified in accepting that axiom.
You can question the axioms for sure.
Yeah, you just won't get very far with it because they're axioms, and you can question them all you like. They're
Never
they're
go full
presuppositions.
solipsism.
We never go full solipsism. Never. Don't do it.
In fact,
There's a
yes, we
rule
regard that as
here.
axiomatic. Yes,
Yeah.
because solipsism is the only theory that exists in the entire world that could ever possibly be pretty much bulletproof, and
Yeah.
therefore we have to trash it because it's worthless to talk about.
It's worthless. And we're back. So
Absolutely.
there's one called vacuous truth, right? And
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, vacuous truth is a claim that is technically true but meaningless.
Yeah, well, we used to call that trivially true.
Yeah, and so I
Trivially
see
also
this...
means that it's like
Go ahead.
I get what is it like a truism or something like that. It's true backwards
Yeah.
and forwards.
This is when I say, oh, so there's this problem that men da 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 da, and somebody comes in and says not all men, and we go, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, if I say, yeah, if a girl says to me, like, all men something something, sometimes they will say, and you put this onto my Twitter, Chesh, last year, or maybe 2 years ago now, sometimes they'll say, not you, Barry. But more often than not, they will understand that is part of the thing. So when they say all men this, all men that, they don't actually mean all men. They're just they're making a political statement almost, you know?
And
You're speaking about a general,
guess
not every individual.
here's a great thing then. Instead of just saying that people could also be like the black swan, fallacy or whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or no true Scotsman. Well, like the problem is like now you're not talking about what they actually wanted to talk about.
Yeah, we're not
which
talking
is
about the
problem.
issue anymore. You're trying to find the exception that proves the rule.
Yeah.
Instead of talking about why does this observed phenomena exist and what
If
can
some
we do about it?
motherfucker, if I say something about men or women as a general statement, and some motherfucker comes to me and says, well, this person doesn't do that, I'm like, great, congratulations, you found one. So you're acknowledging the problem then. That you had to
that's
go
not what
out of
you
your
would-
way to find one.
I've never felt attacked by anybody saying all men this or all men that, you know?
Yeah, because it's
I mean,
generally
fuck
not
them, I guess.
applicable to you.
There's someone there called Victoria Makarios. Are you
shouldn't-
Greek?
German.
Sorry.
You also should not.
Oh,
You
German.
should not use a statement like "all" when you're making generalizations. Don't use all.
Well, it
just
throws
say
people out. Yeah,
absolutes
men.
are bad.
Yeah. If I say men, I'm not referring to all men. I'm speaking about men, the
Yeah.
general demographic, and usually that general demographic is geography specific. So but the context is within whatever the greater situation is. I don't need to say not all men because we're already contextually talking about this demographic.
Yeah. Like girls will say to you sometimes, "Why are men like this?" You know, and you know what they mean. You don't have to pretend like you don't know what they mean. Why would you pretend that? Like you're not helping anything.
Because they want to piss off women on purpose. And then immediately I ask, and why are men like that?
Oh, the name is Greek. It's a Greek name, yeah. No, the reason I asked is because I did a whole thing about Cyprus once, And the guy who was running Cyprus for their crisis time in 1974 was an archbishop, and his name was Macarios. I said, "Well, there's still Macarioses around, you know?" Well, okay.
All right. There's one other one that we should talk about, because we've talked about we brought up the genetic fallacy, we've talked about the straw man fallacy, we talked about ad homs, we've talked about a few. Moralistic. Oh, I'll give you the definition
Read it out.
for inferring evaluative conclusions from purely factual premises in violation of wrong thing. Inferring factual conclusions from evaluative premises in violation of a fact-value distinction. Example, making statements about what is on the basis of claims about what ought to be.
Ah, that's very old. That's someone wrote a whole book about that. What was it? One of those Reformation philosophers. Who wrote the is-ought thing? It was Mill, was it, or Bentham, or one of those?
Hume.
Is versus
Hume is
ought.
odd.
Hume, that'll do. Yeah, and that is a problem. Yeah, like there's no logical jump from all these people were murdered to murdering people is wrong. There's no logical jump there at all.
Right.
But it feels like there should be.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like
But
there's a
there
gap there.
Yeah, there is a logical gap, but this just illuminates the inability of logic to really help us very much during most of the things that happen in our lives. Like, you can logic your way around anything, and it's not helpful. It's not going to help me. I'm still going to think killing people is wrong, no matter how I can't get there logically, right? It doesn't make a difference to me.
There's an episode of Star Trek where Spock tries to intimidate another planet's species by using force, basically, and it just pisses them off more, and he's just thinking well, that was supposed to scare him logically and stuff like that, and it doesn't work.
That's not how it works. It's like anytime you put an animal in the corner, well, logically it should be scared and just roll over, and it doesn't do that. It does the opposite.
I hope he told them that. I hope he told them. I hope he sent them a message afterwards and said, "That was intimidating you. My God, don't you people know when you're being intimidated? What the fuck is wrong?"
Love that. Okay, I have a philosophy about humans, or an observation about humans. You can take it one way or the other, whichever one you think. The greatest human motivator is spite.
More than
It
fear.
can be.
More than fear.
Okay.
Because you can be afraid
Actually,
of somebody. Somebody's trying to you're afraid of them, and they're doing stuff to you to make you afraid. You get so afraid where you just get tired of being afraid. You just get pissed off,
that's fine. Yeah.
and then you do something.
The motivation for your own self is despite the self that is a negative influence on you, basically.
Yeah. People will
spite somebody else.
Spite somebody else and spite yourself. Spite is the greatest motivator. To actually get somebody to do something. It might not be
I ran a marathon out of spite.
You might
Whole marathon out of spite.
Feel other things. Yeah, you want to do a whole stream about spite? We could totally do that.
Did I tell you about the marathon I ran?
Yes, a couple of months ago, right?
Yes, I ran that out of spite, not because I wanted to, just because I got really annoyed at people, and I said, "Well, fuck all you guys, I'm going to do this."
And you did.
That's why. So maybe you're right. Yeah.
Because the thing is spite might not be the strongest. Well, it might not be the strongest emotion that you feel about something, and it might not be that obvious. But it is one of the things that is going to drive you to actually take an action and to do something.
Because it's most persistent.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Prove me wrong.
I'm thinking.
Look at Canada versus the United States right now. Pure spite.
Definitely that the contrast to that, the greatest evil is lack of fortitude.
No, self-preservation is absolutely not the strongest motivator, because somebody will blow themselves up to fuck over that other person purely out of spite.
Yeah.
People will self-destruct to fuck over somebody else, not even think about it. They'll be like, "Fuck you."
People will blow themselves up just for fun. Have you ever seen Jackass?
Yeah. Yep. Look at what Feline. Look at what Erin's doing right now. Everything she's doing is. This is another person we've talked about. There's a whole legal battle and stuff going on
court one.
about harassment.
No, she's called Costello.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Reference. I can't
I'm
see the reference.
impressed, Barry. I'm impressed.
I understood that
Everything-
reference.
Everything she is doing is out of spite. Whether or not she knows that that's what she's doing, that is what she's
Yeah.
doing. She is continuing on and she's keep going. It is pure spite at this point. And
Yeah.
it's so funny. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be successful.
No, I mean, spite is generally a really bad reason to do things, but it's definitely a motivator.
I'm pretty sure the Twin Towers going down in the United States was spite motivated.
Not as spitey
Yeah,
as
so-
the cluster invasions that happened afterwards.
Hey, yeah. Hey, listen,
Yeah.
you could, as much as people say, oh, it's a cycle of violence. No, bruh, it's a cycle of spite.
Yeah. Jesus.
It's like the same thing
That's-
as like saying, "Oh well, you should live your best life," to spite the person who tried to wreck your life. That's spite. That's spite. That's spite motivation.
Giving an entitled American
Yeah,
a Spanish last
we'll-
name is ironic.
We'll cut our noses off for it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, people
maybe.
absolutely self-destruct or damage themselves or blow up. Like any type of like, a lot of military strategy is based in spite, in my opinion.
Only
It's
in
like,
the
oh,
real
you're
world.
gonna take my land? Not if I burn down my fucking fields, you're
No.
not. Salt
Yeah.
the ground.
That's a
Iran
common tactic.
Iran hit one of our ships in the like 2000s,
Yeah.
and we took
Yeah.
out like all of their navy.
Don't touch the boats!
Meanwhile,
Yo.
an American warboat took out an Iranian passenger jet in 1988, and nothing happened.
Mhm.
They just said, "Why did you take out our passenger jet, man? What's that about?
What's that
Please
about?
don't do that." And the following day, the Ayatollah ordered the execution of every single political prisoner in Iran.
Spite is the most powerful motivator for human beings.
That should be our next
Yeah,
episode.
I mean, I never thought of it before.
We could talk
Oh,
an
yeah.
hour about spite.
Yeah, we could. All right, see you next month for Spite the Motivator is called the video.
What? Oh, thank God, it's not 4th of July.
Or spite.
Bless. Yeah, no, the next one of these shows is
The first.
The
1st of
4th
July.
is a Saturday.
Uh-oh.
No, the first is.
What?
It says
The first.
Is Wednesday?
it says here the 4th of July is a Saturday
Are you
on my
okay?
calendar.
I like that the
26th
calendar for the
July.
United
Oh, it is.
States
Wow. Okay, 1st of August is a Saturday.
Oh,
No,
there
so-
you go.
Yeah, no, I might not be here.
Are you okay? Do we? Well, okay. Well, we'll talk about that and we'll adjust it as necessary.
Yeah.
So if
I'll
we
be
need to adjust
drunk.
it, we can do that.
Be
Sorry,
wasted.
I'm the
You'll be
only
drunk.
Yankee here, so
Yeah. So fun fact about this place, if you're new here, we're really eclectic. So most of the guests, very few of them are actually like This isn't a very American-dominated space, I should say.
no.
And those spaces are becoming few and far between. Spaces
Yeah, I
that are
know.
not dominated by Americans.
Oh,
Chesh
boy.
is Canadan, and I am Iris, and Paleo Phil is, I don't know, it's Chicago. Would you call that American?
Yeah, no, the nation of Chicago. That,
Nation of Chicago. I don't know.
most
Alright.
Chicagoans
Illinois.
don't care about the rest of it.
Do you guys have anything else you want to add about fallacies before we take on out of here?
We did like 4 of
You
them.
said
We have room to do more the next time. We should
Yeah,
talk
we can
about
do
more
we can
fallacies
definitely
today.
do
All right, that's it.
more. Okay. Nobody had anything else to add.
Am
So
I
yeah,
Barry again? The fuck?
yeah, you are.
That's weird.
He's inside of a fish tank.
Ah.
Okay.
covered. Oh, there it is.
So last thing on fallacies. So if you're going to be aware that you can use a fallacy and have it be effective. That doesn't mean it's necessarily good or correct or right thing to do. And calling out a fallacy is not always a good, right, or correct thing to do.
I'd never do it. Don't
Sometimes.
bother ever calling out a policy.
And if you are going to spend your time doing that, maybe try shifting the way you do it instead of just saying, hey, that's a red herring. Instead, describe a red herring and say, hey, I think this might be an issue with what you're saying. and describe it
Exactly.
instead of just saying, oh, hey, that's a red herring, or hey, that's an ad hom, or hey, that's this. Instead, just be like, hey, I think you might have gotten my argument wrong and you're misrepresenting it a little bit. Let me rephrase this in a way that I think maybe we can get on the same page.
There you go.
Instead of saying that's a straw man.
Yep.
Unless you just want to fight. Yeah, I mean, in which case, fucking okay. Just don't pretend you're being all high and mighty about it though, because that's the real problem. Attitude.
Internet blood sports.
Internet blood sports. All right, thanks so much for joining us, everybody. This has been Debate Hub. This has been Living with Philosophy, whether you like it or not. And call out a fallacy the next time you're at the grocery store. It'll be funny, I promise. Bye.